I'm Jan Falconer, and welcome to Not Netflix Natters, a place where stories, family, and everyday life gives us something to think about. Let's begin. Not Netflix Natters, Series 4, Episode 3. Learning to Use the Tool. Hi, I'm Jan Falconer. I'm a children's author and grandmother, and this is Not Netflix Natters. I've been thinking about bicycles. Now, I know, bear with me. When a child first gets a bike, we don't expect them to climb on, put their feet on the pedals, and immediately cycle down the road. They have to learn. These days, many children start with a balance bike. They put one foot down, then another, they wobble, they begin to understand how the bike feels, and gradually they find their balance. Then comes the pedals. Now, they have to coordinate their feet while balancing and steer at the same time, and eventually they're cycling. The bike hasn't changed. Their ability has. So, why do we sometimes expect technology to be different? New technology arrives, and almost immediately, we seem to form an opinion about it. It's wonderful. Oh, it's dreadful. It will change everything. Oh, it will ruin everything. Yet, sometimes, I wonder whether we've even learned how to use the tool before deciding what we think about it. Now, I belong to the generation that saw scientific calculators arrive into the classroom. Before that, I used logarithm and trig tables, sine, cosine, and tangent. Books full of numbers that we had to use to work things out. I hated those books. The scientific calculators arrived, and my mother believed I was cheating. I wasn't. We were taught how to use them. Years later, when I studied epidemiology, I used a scientific calculator to help with the calculations, exploring whether findings were statistically significant or might simply be due to chance. But the calculator didn't understand the study. It didn't know what I was asking, and it certainly couldn't interpret the findings for me. It was a tool. I still needed to understand what I was asking it to calculate and what the answer might mean. The tools I use today are quite different. Spreadsheets can complete calculations that once took me far, far longer. Technology can analyze information quickly, and now AI is introducing another collection of tools. The tools keep changing. Maybe the question is whether we take the time to learn about the tools before deciding what we think. We don't have to become experts in everything. I certainly don't. One of my grandchildren uses the running watch I've mentioned before. She understands the data it gives her in ways that quite honestly bamboozles me. And I have a master's in public health. The difference is, running strategy isn't my area of interest. It's hers. She understands how she runs. She looks at the information from her watch and uses that data to understand what is happening in her body. She uses the tool judiciously, and I don't pretend to know more than she does simply because I'm an adult. Owning a tool is not the same as knowing how to use it. I discovered that recently myself. I was very late to TikTok. During COVID, it seemed as though everyone was making TikTok videos, even Dame Judi Dench. I wasn't. I had no time, and quite honestly, it meant nothing to me. I didn't make TikTok good or bad. I simply had no purpose for it, and I didn't want to use it. Then I became an author. Suddenly, I wanted to reach readers and families. TikTok became relevant to me, so I took the time to learn about it before I started using it. YouTube was much the same. I had a YouTube account for years, just a personal one. And recently, rather than just going and viewing, I started using the account. I've been using it for months before I really understood YouTube. I uploaded things, they were there. Lovely. It was only when I took the time to learn what YouTube could do, what it couldn't, and how I might really use it that I began to see it differently. The technology hasn't changed. My understanding of the tool had. And maybe that's worth remembering when new technology appears. Unfamiliar doesn't automatically mean dangerous. New doesn't automatically mean wonderful either. Perhaps we simply need to pause long enough to learn. Try it, ask some questions, find out what it does, and find out what it can't do. Then make an informed judgment. For families, I think this is particularly important because adults don't always have to be the expert. Sometimes we will know more. Sometimes our children will know more. And sometimes none of us will have a clue. We can learn together. And maybe that's where the bicycle comes back in. When a child is learning to ride, someone is usually nearby. At first, we're close. We help them balance. We watch them wobble. We encourage them to try again. Gradually, they become more confident. Then one day, we just let go. Not because the bike has suddenly become safer, not because the road no longer has hazards. We let go because the child has learned how to use the tool and is developing the judgment to navigate the road ahead. Perhaps technology isn't so different. We don't have to know everything. But before we judge the tool, maybe we should take the time to understand it. And when the children are learning, perhaps the best thing that we can do is learn alongside them until they're ready to find their own balance. Thank you for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe, visit my website, and explore the books. Until next time, take care.